Yo, what up? It's episode 7 already, and it's your boy, AverageRollerCoasterEnthusiast. Before we get into today's video, I would just like to announce that we will be doing a new part of the series. We will be doing viewer-titled rides. How that will work is I will put in the video which rides we are naming. You guys can comment down below a name, and then we will take the most voted and up-liked comment on that name. For today's episode, we'll be naming our train, our tracked ride, our first one of the park, and we'll be naming a brand new coaster, which I will not spoil. It is a brand new coaster. It will be still technically a family coaster, but I'm sure you guys will love it. This series has been going great. We are on episode 7 already. Can hardly believe it. Thank you for anyone who's watched, comment, liked. I really appreciate it. For the first part of this video, we will be working on this station for our first tracked ride. We chose, I believe it's called the Powered Car, or it's got a very bad name, I remember that. We've been talking about it in previous episodes, but today we will be doing the station for it. We're doing a classic train station with lots of arches, and we start off in bamboo, but that will change towards the end. So for this video, if you want to comment a name for the tracked ride and the coaster, put in the comments which one you are naming. And we also need a name for the big wheel, now that I'm thinking about it, which is the Ferris wheel right next to our, well, we'll be in between these two rides. So 3 names. We need 3 names. Think of the best thing you can. Comment it down below. Nothing inappropriate. Family friendly. We got kids in the park. Please respect them. And I've been working on this park for quite some time now. I've got some parts that haven't even been seen yet. And it makes me even more excited for this series because I know what's to come, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So be tuned to, or be sure to be tuned into the channel and see when new episodes drop, because I think it's coming along just beautifully here. We will be saving the island till the end, but we are working on the other side of the outskirts of the island. And with this station build, I'm doing, you know, the classic ARCE. You know, we're doing some walls, some trim on the bottom, trim on the corners, and, you know, just not going too crazy in the detail yet, at least, but we're gonna keep it realistic as much as we can. We're also making sure everything's on the grid. That's right. We're going on the grid, and we're going to go gilded roof on this station. My second favorite roof, right next to the thatched roof. And I go with a little bit of a interesting design on this one. We're going to do 1 layer, and then we're going to top it off with something unique. We're just going to give it some rafters. like to dedicate this first ride to the Oh No Bros. The Oh No Bros have been supporting this channel like crazy, and I love it. Huge shout out to them. Here we're thinking about what kind of roof we can make to make it a little bit different than what we've been seeing around the park. So we're going to do an elevated section of the gilded roof. Give me the summary of what I made today. It's probably in the negative. I don't give a dang. I don't give a dang. So now we're going to be making just a little bit more supports for the inside of this, so that when you're inside of the station, it looks a little bit more realistic. You know, I love making rafters. It's so much fun. I don't know if I'm making realistic ones when I do it, but I think they look okay. And then the beauty is just copying them over and over and over and over. Tips and tricks: make sure you're not poking out through your roof. So we're just going around making sure we're not poking out the roof. And here we're deleting these. I have the idea of doing glass ceilings. So we're gonna bring on up a glass pane, fit it right in there. And the glass panes in this game are cool because they have little frames around them. I don't think we had that in the first game. So, nice update. Makes them look a little bit more realistic. And I think that's cool for this station to look. Little glass roof going on. Almost the exact opposite here. We're making sure that when you look up, we're at least touching the roof, but we don't want to be poking through it. See, there's a fine line between it. If you're going through, it looks weird. If you're not touching, it looks like it's not doing anything. And we want to make sure it looks like it's doing something. I am recording this at 7:30 in the morning, so if I am a little bit more chiller than normal, that is why. Enjoying my coffee before I head into work for today. For this queue, we want to do a little bit of extra queue for people. Just making sure everyone's got enough space on our ride for everyone. And we kind of get an overlap, but I don't think I mind it. I think I leave it, and we end up using that to our advantage. And I don't know what happened. That's me inspecting these planters. Something happened with the planter. You guys can probably notice the difference. I don't know if they came out with an update and it bugged out the planters, but we gotta let them know. Gotta put in a bug report. And we are just filling in some plants, making it come together. Getting a little splash in the camera, gotta cool off. Once again, we are viewer naming our rides, so 3 rides this video. Started out with 2, but I changed my mind, we're doing 3. We got our tracked ride right there. We got our big wheel Ferris wheel. And we'll be doing a brand new coaster. This coaster is family friendly, and it is more so for the ambiance and the visuals more than anything. You'll see why. The way I build it has that in mind, so we're not going crazy layout or anything. We just want to get something for the visual of the park and the aesthetic. Just changing the colors of the big wheel, making it fit in a little bit more, and pretty much inspecting our park, seeing what we're doing next. And here's where I get the idea for the coaster. You know, trying to fit in something to make it cool, and then eventually I get the idea. You'll see what we end up choosing and deciding. Start off with the side friction wooden and try it out. End up changing it. It's not really the look I'm going for. But it gives us the idea and the general layout of what I'm going with here. Like I said, we're not doing anything crazy, more so just for the aesthetics of the park, and you'll see what I mean in the end. And we are in the family section, so we are going family friendly on the layout here. And we are funny thing about this coaster is I built it without even realizing, but I built this first iteration of it not in the 4-meter method. I know. Sue me. I don't know how I did that. Wasn't even thinking. It's the best way to build a coaster, and I didn't even do it. So I think that's why I end up scrapping it. I also don't enjoy the side friction, how it looks while you're riding. Not my favorite. Supports look weird. I don't know. Something about this this coaster wasn't doing it for me. Here we're kind of just trying to think about how to go back to the station, but still having enough room for the queue. And much better decision. We go with this wooden. And this wooden is a little bit nicer. I like how it's got the chain lift. It's not a side friction, so it's actually going down on track. And it's got the classic walkways on the side, which I really enjoy. And we end up putting this baby in 4 meters. We end up putting the banking on 1 meter. And we end up building this thing out right. So you can see right there, I went back and changed it to 4 meters, realized what the mistake I was doing. Right there, changed the meter. And you know, you don't really, like, the banking offset is not necessary, but it will help out when you go to smooth it. It'll make better banks, trust me. The most important is the 4 meters, because what that does is it keeps you building in a more realistic manner so you're not going out crazy with a bunch of crazy turns and unrealistic stuff. I don't know why that ends up happening with the longer pieces, but it does. This gives you a little bit more control. And we got our first iteration of the coaster. Looking good. And we're gonna go through and smooth it in our classic 4-meter method. 3 pieces at a time, moving up by 1, and hitting the smooth button about 3 or 4 times. And this coaster comes out really good. If you can already kind of see what I'm getting at with the aesthetic purposes, I don't want to build past this area, so I needed a way to cut it off basically. And I thought, let's do a coaster that cuts it off, because then it gives a nice sort of view while you're walking by, and nice ambiance, nice aesthetic. And I think it was a good idea. Let me know what you think. And again, if you have a good name for this one, put it down in the comments and upvote your favorite name. We will be making signs of our favorite names with the viewers' YouTube name. So the viewers will be a part of this park every step of the way. And if you want to leave your mark on this park, comment down below. And these turns are pretty tight, but what we end up doing is putting some trim on the brakes. Sorry, friction brakes. And what the friction brakes will do is slow it down into the turn so it's not too unrealistic. And we're trying to figure out the block section so we can run 2 trains. So I go with the block section right at the top of the hill, so it kind of pauses when it has to in an area where it won't ruin the flow of the coaster. If you know about block sections, you want to try to space them out so it doesn't hold the coaster, but if it does hold the coaster, you want it to be in a spot like that on an uphill so that it can go down and continue and complete the track. And there are better ways to do the block section. Every time I do one, I do it really good or really bad, because I still have yet to comprehend it. What I do know is the station is considered a block. The lift is considered a block, and it will not hold, it will hold the first train. It will hold the second train if the first train does not go through the block in time, if that makes sense. Maybe we have a completely own separate video about block sections if you want, but other people have covered it. But let me know. I've built some that have good block sections and some that could be better. And with this, we're just going for a somewhat realistic queue. It's not too long, but it works. And once again, we'll be replacing the entrance and exit to fit the archways. And with this build, I do white wood for the station to match the wooden coaster supports. Here I want to add some natural windows, gonna put some glass in there, so it's just figuring that out. Here we want to figure out how to incorporate the station into the track. I don't want to change the track at all. I just want to build the station so everything comes together nicely. And I think the white wood here looks really good. Blends into the coaster. Just looks good sitting on the shore and the beach side like that. We end up moving our track a little bit on the tracked ride just to get it out of the way a little bit so we're not on top of each other. And here we are, just selecting it and moving it over just a little bit. Because we want to add some trim. And we don't want the trim to go onto the tracked ride. And we'll be aligning everything in our favorite fence. Just looks so good. Gonna add some railing to this. There we go. Looking good. And I always forget to turn off stick to surface, and I'm wondering what is going on, you know. The button is right there, looking back. It's like, come on, bro, just click it. Stick to surface, off. And here we're kind of thinking, we got the general layout. We haven't quite finished the station, but we're gonna add a exit and an entrance for our big wheel. Kind of just going through these 3 rides in this video. And what I noticed in the game once you put guests in is they kind of just congregate near the entrance in no specific manner. So, I mean, I don't know if they fixed that yet, but I had a queue just to help out there. And sometimes the queue doesn't even help. The queue just kind of helps. You'll see what if you play the game, you know what I mean, but they just, man, they'll just mob that queue until there's 100 people outside of the end of it, just congregating into a little mob. So here we are, just flying through, getting a vibe check, and here is where we start the rest of our station build, I believe. Yes, we go back to the station and we finish it out. And we go resort pillars painted white, I believe is what we're looking for here. So I do not paint them white at the beginning. That's okay. I felt like everything on this station had to be white. Kind of fits the coaster real well. Once again, Planet Coaster 1 music, bringing in the hottest soundtrack of the previous decade. And we're going to be finishing off this station in the best way I feel is necessary and right. So we're going to be sinking down that little portion of the roof, making it look like the coaster is totally supposed to be there. And a little bit more glass ceilings. We love the glass ceiling vibe in this video. So we put some skylights in and basically just finish off this station. We can put some glass in all the windows with these nice new panes. That looks so good. So good. And we're going to be bringing them down to our other windows with the beautiful view of the island, or what will be the island. Beautiful. Loving the vibes of this station and this coaster. I called it Beach Coaster for the video and for at least episode purposes, but we want something a little bit more unique, so be sure to comment down below a nice name that you think, and be sure to vote on your favorite name. Here we have this little awkward section of roof, so what better way than make it a window, you know what I mean? And that's looking good. But we're gonna have to finish it off with a few more trim pieces. Looks a little bit naked without it. And we're working on coffee number 2. That is right. One thing you should know about me if you're watching is I love my cup of joe. And I bring out these wave pieces, and I think this look is so cool. I don't know what it is about these wall pieces, but I think they are the coolest thing. Something about that Planet Coaster blue against the white is just perfect. And I think it brings the building together. I mean, the building could use a little bit more detail, definitely. But you know, for now it's looking good. I add a little bit more trim to it. Overall, the whole park could use a little bit more stuff like lights and benches and things like that. We do add some windows on this bad boy. Even though we have our glass windows, we had some normal white double pane windows. I think it helps the look out. Excuse me for my big sip, but it is 8 o'clock in the morning and Papa needs his coffee. So here's where I get the genius idea of making all the trim white. So we go on through, we try to do that, but you'll see our hitbox situation going on. Trying to select, and well, you're just selecting everything in the whole park. So we do it one by one. It's at this point I actually got frustrated, and you won't be able to see that because I am narrating it after the fact, but I was getting frustrated. And we successfully get everything white. So the white trim with the regular colored rope, I mean, I just love that look for this station. Right on the beach side, looks like it belongs on the beach. And this is our first flat roof building. Not really usually a fan of flat roofs, but I think it was necessary here. And just finishing out the trim on our little makeshift window here. And I think the trim brings the window together definitely. That's looking real good. Remember, you can name this park. You can name this ride. Park already has a name. You can name this ride if you get the most upvoted comment. And we'll be riding this at the end of the video in real time, just so everyone can get a vibe. And if you get the winning comment, we will put a sign up, make it real nice, and put your YouTube name on the sign so that you can leave your mark in Surf's Up Tropicali. These palm trees are so good, just so tall, put them anywhere. And this first ride will be in 250% speed. Just a test for myself as I was building it, making sure Everything is cool and looking good. And making sure the block sections were working pretty good. And I think they are. We're going to add some windows on the inside of the building. Kind of just a little bit of detail. We can add a little bit more also, but for now this is what we got. Take it or leave it. I'm going to be changing the color a little bit. And from here I will leave you guys with the ride, no commentary. Remember, it's your boy, AverageRollerCoasterEnthusiast. If you'd like to name these 3 rides, leave a comment with what you're naming and we'll see which gets the most upvotes. Thank you again for watching, commenting, subscribing, juice the algo, tickle the post. Let's go, baby. I love y'all. Peace out.